Alright, in this part of the tutorial we will be looking at ways in which you can explore your data. If you have a layer that you added to ArcMap, how can you learn more about that layer? Alright, so I'm going to add data again. See, it automatically opens on the last place from where I added data, so I'm going to go back. I'm now at tutorial 1.3, double click that, and here I've got two layers. I've got education schools, and I've got a province new. So let's just add province new first, and then let's add education schools. Okay, and now it tells me geographic coordinate system warning. The following data sources use a geographic coordinate system that is different from the one used by the data frame you are adding data into. Alright, so now it tells me education schools and province new is not the same. Okay, and it tells me education schools is in a geographic coordinate system WGS 1984 again. Okay, and I just need to notice, I'm going to say close. So what I want you to see now, if I go to province, the first data set that I added, we will see it's in geographic coordinate system Hartbeespoort 1994. Remember, I told you in class, many of the data sets that you will find in South Africa from general databases and from government, etc., is still only in a geographic coordinate system, not projected yet. Okay, so this is not uncommon at all. Okay, but the one is now in geographic coordinate system Hartbeespoort, and the other one is in WGS 1984. But because I first added province new, the layer or the data frame will also be in Hartbeespoort 1984. Can you see that? Right, so how this works, the first layer that you add to ArcMap, that spatial reference of that layer will be defined or assigned to the data frame as well. Okay, so please note that. Alright, so now we've got a bit of a conflict. So again, what will be the correct course of action here? It will be to change education schools to Hartbeespoort. So I'm going to go through this exercise again so that you can see it again. I'm going to go to projections and transformations, going to go to my not define project this time. Okay, I'm projecting, and this might be a bit confusing maybe. I'm using a project tool now, and in terms of the theory, project will mean I'm taking it to a flat surface. Alright, so this is maybe a bit of an issue with the software and the way they named this. Even if I just change the geographic coordinate system, I also use the project tool, so I'm not actually projecting. Alright, I'm not taking it to a 2D surface. I'm just changing the spatial reference, but I still use the project tool for that. Alright, so just make a distinction there. So the one I'm going to use is education schools. It is in WGS 1984 geographic coordinate system. I want to change it to, I can just select Hartbeespoort there, or I can navigate obviously Africa. I know it's located under Africa Hartbeespoort 1994, sorry. It tells me again there will be a geographic transformation. It asks me where do you want to save this. I'm going to use my default location. I'm going to say OK, and now it goes through the process of changing the spatial reference from one to another, taking it from WGS 1984 to Hartbeespoort 1994. Okay, now it's added. I can remove the old one. Alright, so now you can be sure everything is in the same spatial reference system. Okay, they're all still geographic coordinate systems, but for now that's fine because we're not going to do any measurements. We're just going to explore the data. Okay, now I've got you can see I've got quite a large data set on education schools in South Africa. So what you would often like to do is investigate this layer. I've now got a number of locations. I can zoom in here. I've got locations of schools, but I don't know anything about them. I only know where they are. So I've got the X and the Y value basically. So I've got 2 dimensions on this, but I don't know anything more. To learn more about these schools, there are a few options. The easiest one, or the most simple one, is to use identify. That's the icon, that icon there. I click on identify. You will see the icon changes. I've got the little information icon there along with the cursor, and then I click on one of these schools and it opens the identify window, and now it tells me the one I clicked on is Hammansvlei. It can tell me it's in the Northwest Province. There's the coordinates, there's the postal address. It's in Swazi-Reneke. There's the postal code. I've got a telephone number for the school. It's in the Bloemhof Circuit in the Klerksdorp district. It's a primary school. It's got mud walls. It's got a zinc roof. It's got no computers. It does have telecom. It's got water, no electricity, no sanitation. Right, and poor gravel roads. So there's a lot of information available about the school. Alright, so you can go to these schools individually and click on them and access this information, and you can see everything that's available on that particular school. Okay, and this is also, note, it's for the year 2000, so it's quite old data, but it's only for the purpose of the exercise. It should be feasible, should be okay. Sorry. All right. Another way to access information is to right click on the schools layer and say, let's open the attribute table. Okay, and now it opens all the non-spatial information for the schools dataset. Everything that's available for all of these schools. Here you can see I've got the roof types, the wall types, the school types, etc., the roads, everything, and all the schools are in the table. Now this is quite a lot of information. I can see there's 27,147 schools. Okay, so this is quite a big table with quite a lot of information in it. But say I'm only interested in that cluster of schools there, so I'm going to zoom into them and I want to learn more about these schools, but I don't want to click on each of them individually. So what I then can do then is there's a select features option. You can look, there's a click on the drop down arrow. There's different ways in which you can select. You can use a circle, a polygon, a rectangle. Let's just use the rectangle option, and then I left click and I hold, and then I drag a little box around that cluster of schools, release, and it automatically selects all these schools. Okay, so now they are selected, they're shown in blue. I right click on schools again, I open the attribute table, and here at the bottom you can see there's two little icons here. The first one that's automatically selected says show all records, and then the other one say show selected records. So I click on that, and now only the selected schools, the one that's in blue on the map, are displayed here. Okay, so now I can work through this table and I'm only seeing the information for the schools that are spatially selected already. Alright, so the list is a lot smaller now. Only 13 schools were selected, and only the information for these 13 schools are being displayed. Alright, so sorry, I just had a quick phone call. Alright, so now those are the ones selected, and it's only the information that's being displayed. So if I close this attribute table, I've got a few options that I can follow. One of the things I can do is I can create a layer from only this information. So I can right click on the education schools, and then I can use a selection option. Alright, so, and then there's a create a layer from selected features. So what will now happen if I click that? The selected ones have now been created as a single layer. Alright, so that's what you can do when you select features. You can create a separate layer with only those features being displayed in that layer. Okay, please take note, if you use this option, selection, create a layer from selected features, it's only a temporary file. It's not a file that's saved somewhere on your computer, on your hard drive. It's only temporarily saved. So if you close your ArcMap and you open it again, it could be gone. Alright, so it's not a permanent file. If you want to save it permanently, you right click on the layer, you go to data, you go to export data, and then you can say you want to export the selected features, which will be those ones there, and you want to store them wherever on your computer, and then you can save them permanently somewhere on your computer. I'm not going to do it now, but that's an option that you will have. Okay, but let's explore the data set a bit further. Let's zoom to extend. We see all of them again. I'm going to open the attribute table again, right click on education schools, open attribute table. Now now there's nothing being displayed. Right? Why is that? Because there's nothing selected, and I'm still displaying only selected records. So now I need to say show all records. Everything is being displayed again. Okay, so for instance, let's look at the different information that's available here. There should be a field on number of students. Let's see, learners. Okay, so now here I've got a learner column that tells me the number of students in a school. Okay, so I want to know what school, what's the school with the most learners or highest number of learners. I can double click learners, left click, double click, give it a while because it's 27,000 records. Okay, now it's from smallest to largest. If I double click it again, we'll turn it around from largest to smallest, and now I can immediately see, okay, the school with the most learners is that one there. I can select that school, and now I can navigate and I can see it's the Lebarka Primary School. If I close my attribute table, I can see where it's located. Okay, that's where the school is with the most learners. Alright, so that you can do for whatever information you would like to access. There's also an option here to switch a selection. Say you've selected a number of schools and you now want to see the inverse of that. If I click the switch selection, it just changes it around. Right, so that's sometimes a handy tool to use. Let's say I've got a question. There's a school, William Hills Secondary School. Okay, and I want to ask the question, in what province is it located? Now I want to locate that school, but going through 27,000 records might take quite a while. So the one option, let's just clear the selection here, is to double click on name and sort them from A to Z. Right, and now I can go through it, and I should be able to find that Williams. Where is it? Which was it? Williams Hills Secondary. Yeah, that one there. Okay, so I can locate it in this way and see, okay, it's in the Gauteng province. Or the faster way will be to click here, wait at table options, wait for it to load, and then there's an option find and replace. So I can type in here Williams, or was it just William Hills? Okay, and I can say any part, search all of it, not just up or down from my current position. So it's all of it. Don't match the case in this case, and say find next, and there it finds it as well. Okay, so it locates it, and that's a faster way to locate a name or whatever it is you want to find in your attribute table. Alright, so this is how you navigate your attribute table. You've got your columns, you've got your rows, you can use your search tools, you can sort it from larger to bigger, etc. Select multiple features and look at them on a map. Alright. Okay, so download the data again from Effindi and play around with an attribute table, open this one up and do a few queries, ask a few questions, look for all the schools that's got brick walls, for instance, or all the schools that do not have any computers in them. See if you can locate all those schools, or all the schools that don't have water and don't have electricity, and see if you can show on your map, select only those schools that don't have water or electricity and show them on your map by using the attribute table and the information available in the attribute table.